Hello, and welcome to the Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair recap. This recap's focus is going to be a discussion of the game, so I should say a few things before we get started. First thing is, predictably enough, this video is going to contain a massive amount of spoilers for this game. So, if you haven't seen the playthrough or played the game for yourself, then I suggest doing either of those things first, or check out the other recap of this project featuring all the Monokuma theaters. Secondly, I apologize if the audio keeps changing at points, since there's moments where the speech doesn't really pick up well your Audacity file, so I just hope you understand. There shouldn't be anything else to mention, so let's just get on with it. And joining us today for this discussion is someone who's frequently cameoed in videos. His name is Rob. Hello, Rob.
Hi.
And also joining us today is someone who has never even been seen in the world, clearly. Who is all the way over in the far distant land of other side of the world. His name is Alex, or
Canada.
Walter. Yes, that's
hello.
Canada.
I am indeed not in this world. I'm actually invisible. You can't see me.
Just an disembodied voice, as is all of us.
Yeah.
We are all just body voices.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but
I mean, we're basically just disembodied voices.
basically.
Yeah.
I think the first thing to mention right off the bat is, in terms of things that I've done after finishing DR2. The first thing, that would be the best thing, is completing DR anime, another episode, watching the anime, and V3. So I've caught up on everything DR that I can easily get my hands on. None of the levels or anything like that.
Yep, everything. I don't believe there's anything else until Monokuma gets into Smash.
Yes.
I mean, I would love to see it. But I did my own
Yeah.
journey, but
I'd say one of the skins would have to be Monomi.
yeah. And I think it's a similar kind of deal. Yeah, similar kind of deal with Walters, Alex, as he just said. And Rob, however, hasn't really
Yeah,
seen much of V3, hasn't he?
No, I've seen the animes, but not all of V3. Only up to Troll 3.
Yeah, Trial 3. So I'm promising much. I mean, I was going to do this anyway, but I'm promising not to spoil too much of V3. All I'll say is there are some things I liked, some things I didn't really like that much, and everything you hear about Gokiji is true.
He's a dick.
Yeah.
The Nagito Hydra himself.
Yep, the Nagito Hydra himself.
Yep.
Oh.
Are you gonna make the video thumbnail the Nagito Hydra, right?
Might as well. Although I was
May
already
as well.
thinking of an idea for a thumbnail, but I don't know. It'll depend. So,
Maybe Hajime Pinata's.
Hajime Pinata. Yeah, forgot about that. So let's start with some questions. First off, favorite and least favorite student for both of you?
What was that?
This is for DR2, favorite and least favorite student.
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Favorite is probably Chiaki, but that's kind of a cop-out answer, it feels. So if I'm not counting her, then Mahiru was kind of great. I was very sad when Mahiru kicked the bucket. I was very upset.
Yeah. I tend to agree as well with the Mahiru, who was quite a good student. But my least favourite would have to be, goddammit, I forgot his name now.
Describe.
The, head of the Yakuza.
Oh, Fuyuhiko.
That's all.
Fuyuhiko, how can you not like Fuyuhiko?
Because he was
Yeah.
a Hitler.
I will solemnly say fuck you on that, because Fuyuhiko is my choice of favorite.
Listen, I didn't like Fuyuhiko at the beginning, but then
Thank you.
like once he got better, like after Trial 2, and once he was like, I'm gonna make amends and become
Yeah,
a good person, he was awesome. I loved Fuyuhiko. He was great.
Fuyuhiko's my
Least
favorite.
for me is probably Teru, just because I never really liked him, and there weren't any characters that I was like, oh, I hate this character in 2. Like
Outright low.
in 2, I kind of liked them all. So Teru was just kind of like not a fan of that kind of character.
Nah. For my least favorite, it was most likely just one I didn't really care about, which I'm trying to think of. I suppose I could just say Nekomura, because I didn't really hang out with him. I mean, I do like him, but it's just that it's much like this, what we were saying. There isn't really a strong hate on the scale.
Yeah, I actually forgot about someone, so I'm gonna change my answer to Mikan. As much as I know you like Mikan, like I did not like Mikan, and I knew I was accidentally spoiled going into the game that Mikan was a killer at some point. I don't know if that colored my opinion or anything, but like I just the character of Mikan, I was not a fan of. I'm like, just go away, and then she did. I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
bye.
I'd be careful with you. I just see, oh, recall my eye, he's looking at the Danganronpa wiki. I just say be careful, alright? Just make sure you stay on
I was
two.
just double checking with the character names so I can get one.
Alright, okay, that's fine, okay.
Anything can spoil you. I had forgotten Nagito's last name partway through Danganronpa 2. I'm like, what's his name? So I just type in Nagito, and then Google decides to autofill Komaeda death.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like, oh.
Well, when does that happen?
At that point, I was like, already done chapter 4, so I'm like, okay, I mean, like, this is kind of expected at this point.
It's funny about spoilers because I'm always just like kind of paranoid about spoilers with things I want to get into, so I was trying to avoid as much as I could about all the stuff with DR2, what was going, and something that kept popping up was the fingers in his ass thing from Sans. No idea why that was a thing, but I haven't even seen it still.
No.
It's just a bold Nagito. And for some reason on Redbubble, if you search up Danganronpa full merchandise, one of the first things that comes up is a full bedspread with a bold Nagito that has Sans written on it.
Oh,
why?
Because reasons.
I mean, sure, why not?
Yeah.
And I suppose on the topic of spoilers, and it's just a point I need to bring up, because I mentioned it in the credits, there was a kind of a reason why I started going back into Danganronpa after the DR2 recording after episode 3. It was that I was listening to the Volume 7 of Siva Gunner albums, and I was looking through, just putting stuff on a file, just getting ready to put in my car for listening on drives, and one of the titles of the song catches me by surprise, and I see Chapter 4 Execution. Blah blah, it was me all along. I was like, okay, can't listen to this album now. So I had to wait patiently until I could. But
like you jumped right into the other Danganronpa stuff, like right into it.
Yeah.
That was me too. That was like last summer, end of summer.
Jeez. Let's move on to the next question. If you remember how many hidden Monokumas you got throughout your adventure.
I remember very specifically how many hidden Monokumas I got. I got 3 hidden Monokumas in each chapter of Danganronpa 2. Exactly 3. I was like, I like halfway through, like after a few chapters, I'm like, I keep getting only 3. I'm gonna make a specific effort to go and try and look for these Monokumas. Like not like take some time and like meticulously search, but I'm like, I really gotta keep an eye out because I want to get more than 3 in this next chapter. And I never did. I always got exactly 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
literally every chapter.
I will say I only got 1 per chapter, so I wasn't really looking for them.
It's pretty easy to tell how many I got. I think I got a 5, a 2, 2 3s, and 2 4s. I think that was my count.
Oh, I actually did find one more, but I wasn't able to click on it because I noticed it as it was in the end of the chapter 3 investigation.
Oh, right, yeah, because you investigated the thing.
Yeah, the hospital AV room or something, and it was in the ceiling. And I didn't notice until I'd already clicked on the thing that makes the investigation thing end. Then I'm like, no, wait, don't let me leave. Let me click on it, and then it just fades to black, and I can never go get it. And I was so upset.
Yeah.
I even made a mistake during the series a couple of times where only the Monokumas only show up in the chapters they can be found in. So there are a couple of videos in later chapters where I'm just like, okay, spend this free time to look for ones I missed in other chapters, when no, that's not a thing you can do.
Yeah, no, that's kind of unfortunate that you can only, like, they are chapter locked. They're very hard chapter locked.
Yeah, and I still need to get the rest of them that I'm missing in V3. It should be fun.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next question. Biggest gut punch.
Ooh. That is... I think, okay, biggest gut punch for me was the realization during the Chapter 5 trial. And I'm like, oh wait, hang on, did he put in the fire bottles? Does that mean it could be literally any one of us? I'm like, no, there's no way they'd do that, but it was in the back of my mind. And then like 5 minutes later, they're like, wait, was it in the fire bottles? And I'm just like, they did it so that like we have absolutely no idea who the killer is. That was probably the biggest gut punch for me.
Ooh.
Well, for me, the biggest gut punch, I don't think I really had one actually during Danganronpa 2. I'd say the first one definitely, but not the second game.
I'm trying to think myself, what could that first one be? For DR1? Could it be Chapter 1 related?
Yes.
Okay. let's not go any further. I mean, even though there's been various spoilers for DR1 in DR2, which I didn't even know about going in, let's just not specify in case anyone does want to go back to 1 somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, DR1 was... I unfortunately never played the game. I just watched the anime. And at that point, it was too late.
The thing about... For some reason, I went back to DR1 after finishing DR2, and I didn't even realize throughout my whole DR2 experience, they just got rid of the reaction command thing.
Yeah.
The reaction command? Where
in certain lines of dialogue, it'll be highlighted in pink, and then you can press triangle in order to move on to a different part of the dialogue, and that's how you progress in some places.
Oh, I had no idea that was a feature. Like I said, I've literally never played this game.
It's a given, but it's not a sort missing feature anyway.
Yeah.
But my biggest gut punch, just the one that hit me the most, would have been Chapter 2's execution. Because I actually did start crying a little bit once Fuyuhiko was damaged. Because it's like, oh shit, they really did that.
Oh yeah, that was freaky.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Fuyuhiko, get back.
Fuyuhiko, why?
Don't do it, Fuyuhiko. Step back.
No. Alright, next question. Who'd you spend time with over the course of the story, if you remember?
I'd say that's obvious to all 3 of us. I think we all went for Jackie.
Yeah, that's true for me.
Yeah, so you see, for me, my first 2 chapters were me splitting my time between 2 people, and I'm realizing now if I had focused only on one person, I would have been able to make it through. But the 2 people I split between were Mahiru and Peko. So, and then they both died. I'm like, alright, back to square one, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, but at that point, I'm like, ooh, Chiaki's great. So then I just spent the rest of my time with Chiaki. So I completed Chiaki. I think I did Sonia. I think I finished Sonia as well. I tried to finish Sonia in the Strawberry House, but it didn't let me because of
same. It wouldn't let me because the last 3 times
Sonia wouldn't let me. So I'm like, Sonia, please, I don't want you to die. I want to finish your thing before you die, but then she didn't die, so it was all good.
It was all Gucci. But yeah, the ones that I did, you can really easily go back and watch the whole series to find out. But the ones I did, I think it started out with Chiaki and Teruteru, then it divulged to Chiaki and Mikan. And then I think I did some other ones with Fuyuhiko once he was available. And at the end of the game, I finished Chiaki and Sonia's 3 times.
Yeah, that just so happens those are the 2 we both finished.
Yeah.
Chiaki's skill was almost essential.
Cheat code was really good. Although speaking of skills, can I just ask a question? Just one little question. Did you know the whole time you could buy skills from Monami?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't. I played the game on hard mode, essentially. God. Once I finished DR2 in full, all the recordings of the episodes in full, both item modes, both ifs, I sat down and started watching Nintendo Capri Sun's stream of DR2. And when it got to Trial 1, I was like, okay, it's simple enough, I've seen most of the things. Then it goes into the report card and buy skills, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's what you do with the fragments. That's what you do with the
fragments. Yeah, I know. I just had no idea the whole time. I think I even pointed out the first time I saw the report card, like, oh, there's Monami here, why is she here? But at that time, it's mapped off as just question marks. They had no idea what it is. So I guess I just didn't think about it for the rest of the whole thing. So that's dumb. Although, speaking of trials and skills, what's the toughest case?
What's the toughest what?
Case. Which trial?
Toughest case. I'm gonna say the 3rd one, because between the swimsuit flail...
that's the second one.
What?
Oh, never mind. I thought you were gonna... for some reason I was thinking... I didn't... Let me...
Right. I'm confusing the 2. I don't think there was any one trial that was very specifically that hard. Although, I think Trial 2 had the swimsuit flail.
Yeah.
Trial 3 had the very end when I just forgot that you could copy statements. Like, I knew what I wanted to point out, but, I did not remember that was a mechanic. I'm so thankful it was gone in V3, because that was not a mechanic that was, good.
Yeah, it was just kind of a thing.
I wanted.
Even during
I wanted.
Even during,
I was way better.
Lying was pretty good.
Way better.
Even during the 6th chapter was probably something I noticed in editing. There are points where I was capturing bullets in debates when I shouldn't have been capturing bullets, but then forgetting about capturing bullets when the answer requires capturing a bullet.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
yeah, that's how it works sometimes. I'm glad they just scrapped the whole concept.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for me, I'd say the hardest trial would have to be number 4, because as you said earlier, it was like, could everyone have done it, and you didn't know what to
That's
do.
5.
Oh no, 5, sorry. We're all getting mixed up
yeah.
here.
I mean,
We're all confusing trial numbers.
Yeah.
listen, it's just 1 for the dining room, 2 for the House of Beaches, 3 is for the hospital and also the Titty Typhoon, 4 is for House of Fun, and 5 is for the garage warehouse place. And then 6 is death.
4 was the best trial. Like the 5 was pretty good, but like 4 was just weird. It was great. The revelations were so great in like within the contained mystery, and I adore, like, as much as it was such a gut punch with the 5th trial with like the poison bottle and stuff, and that's the better trial because of like all that stuff and obviously Chiaki. But the 4th trial, when I got to the end and I realized, oh wait, hang on, the deluxe rooms must have been soundproof. And then I had remembered, and I'm like, okay, so who was in each room? And I like went through it all. I'm like, oh my god, it's Gundam. Gundam must have been in the killer because he's the only one who is in the deluxe room. Because at the very beginning, when he mentioned the rooms, I'm like, and he said something about like the lowest room having like a draft. I'm like, oh, gotta keep that in my mind. That's gonna be important. That sounds dumb, but that's gonna be important.
You just got the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Just like it's like, all right, my spidey senses are tingling.
No,
this is gonna be important.
That was kind of my deal as well, because of the nature of how I did the series, just having sessions and only having like these split up. I would forget details, so I forgot about the deluxe room stuff, and I forgot about other things too. So that was just the thing.
I would typically do kind of like an entire chapter in like one run. Most of the time.
That's what I did with V3. Just did all the chapter in one run.
Yeah, I mean that makes it easier. I think sometimes like the daily life was a separate like session, but like the deadly life I usually tried to do all the way through. But I kept like having to interrupt partway through, and then I would just spend the rest of the next day and like the rest of it just like going through it in my mind over and over and like thinking of everything that might be possibly it, coming up with theories.
Yeah.
What was my toughest trial? I suppose if we're going by how long I stayed on a single statement, it would be trial 3 because of the camera angle. But if we're going for like actual difficulty, I think the one I had the most trouble with would have been the final trial.
Yeah. The 5th one or the 6th?
6th.
Oh, 6th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually a pretty good gut punch. You guys are all evil.
Oh yeah, the Remnants of Despair. That was something.
Oh yeah.
That was I was like, oh, that's incredible. That's just incredible.
It's like we're all evil and they just celebrate the king.
Oh heck. Let's just move on the topic of that kind of gut punch. What's your favorite twist from the whole thing?
Well, my favorite twist was finding out that Byakuya was not actually fat overall. It was an imposter.
Oh, the imposter. Yeah, Fakia.
Literally, as soon as I saw Byakuya, I was like, wait, he's not fat. He's not dead?
Ditto.
But it was just seeing him alive again. It was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It just made me smile after all the despair that was going through me. So.
Yeah. It was funny because I had the, if you people remember from episode 29, I had the shocked Fakia sprite show in during the reveal in the big old student handbook thing that Nagito got for winning the final Dead Room prize. And I had actually held on to that thing for so long, a couple of years at least, before I could actually use it in the video, and it finally came to fruition. So, thank God for that. Twist for me, I suppose my favorite twist was the revelation of Nagito's actual death being a suicide, I suppose. Or maybe not a suicide, but just an orchestrated to look like a suicide. That was really...
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And did you say yours?
For me,
Oh yeah. No, you didn't.
no, for me, it's really hard to decide biggest twist because I think the twist with like the whole fifth trial like is just such a twist. But I don't know, Remnants of Despair. That was such an amazing revelation for me when I was going through the sixth trial, and I'm like, what's with this weird big 3D Junko? What the heck? What is this? Stop it! I don't like this. This is uncomfortable. And then like it just all got like mitigated by that. Like it was such a cool twist. I loved the Remnants of Despair twist.
No.
Yeah.
Because you
Oh.
heard so much about it, and I kind of knew the whole time. Oh, the Future Foundation. As much as they're saying it's evil, I don't think it's evil. Like you kind of knew that throughout. But like that you're the Remnants of Despair. That was the best twist for me.
Nah.
Yeah.
So let's just move on. Favorite location? That could be island or any single building.
Funhouse.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Funhouse.
the Funhouse is pretty good. I just think
It
because
was
of the
the
name, I
Funhouse.
like the Titty Typhoon, but I could agree with the Funhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the Titty Typhoon was pretty
Just how
good,
it
but
was
that's a
barely
fun
mentioned
name.
in Texas, or it's always almost referred to as the music venue. Well, I think that is actually a
Call it the
reference.
music venue. I'm like, guys, that's not what it's called. Can someone say the name?
Yeah, I think I read that the Titty Typhoon is actually just a reference to. I think it's called the Titty Hurricane, but it's some actual location with Titty in the title that is a reference to. But that's what I remember reading.
That's weird, but yeah, no, Funhouse. The answer is Funhouse.
Funhouse, yeah.
Yeah.
And the
Oh,
last.
no, wait, Josh, I think yours is The Void, right?
Oh right, the Void, yeah.
I thought yours
You
was
didn't
The
see
Void.
anything, did you?
No.
There was absolutely nothing strange. It was perfectly
Yeah.
normal to be in The
So,
Void.
episode 21, I think. Yeah, I think it was 21. Or it was 20 or 21, I can't remember for some reason. But I was in the funhouse, and we just got through the Monokuma Theatre, where Monokuma was talking in Morse code, telling us to drink our Ovaltine. It was fun.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kumatine. And I walk over to the Keep Out text in Grape House in the second floor, and I just walk up beside it, just wondering, hey, what could be going on in there? And suddenly, clipped into the side, no way to escape, stuck in place. And
Yeah,
most of the episode
was just in The Void.
Yep, just in the void.
And there was a pixelated Monokuma, too.
Yep, just showing up every now and then, and just had to try and figure my way out.
I saw that part. It was so weird. I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah, it's just a strange thing. What Post Me said in that video was mostly true. It's based off of weird entrance angles and speed, like jittering the camera and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think it was just because of the
Yeah.
turning speed of the controller setup, and it was just kind of strange and made that happen. But still, it's funny how
That's
Hajime gets
the
enveloped into the
speculation.
void at the ending. So it's like, okay, predicted my own future.
I mean, yeah, yeah, it was actually foreshadowing the whole time.
Yeah, I know. Even pointed that out.
Here's a question. I mean, if let's ignore the void because that was just a glitch. But like, what was the thing you did in your playthrough? Like everyone, like that was the most personal. That like really made it personal to you. What's the weird thing you did?
Well, obviously, I always in all the Danganronpa games, I always go for the manly moments.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the bonus scenes. All
Yeah.
right. I mean,
Oh, the bonus scenes.
I
Oh
mean,
god,
if you-
that was a thing that I also wrote down for points to mention. I after seeing the whole game, I went and looked at all the bonus scenes, and the one that I had was the toy camera one with the little performance that they did. That was nice. But what shocked me was that both Danganronpa 2 and Danganronpa V3 have triple the amount of bonus scenes that Danganronpa 1 had, being a total of 6 each.
Yeah.
And one of them, shared between all of them, is a man's fantasy scene.
That's what it- yeah.
you know the story of that, right, Josh? You know my story with that.
Yeah. It was way back when first speaking.
Basically, I never saw any of the bonus scenes during my own playthrough. I had a different weird thing that I did in my playthrough. But you see, the reason I'm on this call is Sugar Craze, you initially contacted me
Yes.
in order to gain screenshots of the game for thumbnails. So I said sure, and I was going through the game, so I was replaying parts of the game for screenshots for thumbnails. And I happened to go to chapter 2 and triggered them, and all of a sudden, Hajime started talking about his man's nut. I'm like, what are you talking about, Hajime? This was not in the game. What's happening? And then he's just like, nut. I'm like, Hajime, what are you talking about? And then all of a sudden, and then he's like, I can see it. I can picture a man's fantasy. And I'm like, what is happening? And then it just cuts to that. And I was like, what? I had to tab fast because my brother was sitting next to me. I'm like, what is happening? Why is this happening? What is on my screen?
It's a bridge.
It came out of nowhere. I didn't even know bonus scenes existed.
Yeah, just rather strange.
It sneak attacked me.
I mean, the Danganronpa 2 one as well, the Man's Fantasy scene.
Yeah, don't say it. I'm just going to say what I'm going to say first before I mention that, because I know where you're going with that.
Oh, yeah.
For the actual other bonus scenes, there was the massaging one with Akane and Nekomaru, which had a decent... that basically showed off what Ib was. Yeah, I think my definition of Ib was better, which Nekomaru taught her how to shit properly. That's my favorite interpretation.
I think everyone wants it from Nekomaru.
There was the bonus scene of, I think it was Peko slicing a melon that Kazuichi wanted for breakfast in Chapter 1. That one was an interesting one. And then there was also like a fireworks festival, I can't remember the exact name, and a bunch of other stuff too. But the man's nut thing, Rob was just about to mention. In the game files, for some reason, all of the different layers of that scene are stored separately. So there's semi-official nudes of Mahiru.
Oh my god, what?
It's not detailed, but it's shaped.
There is slight detailing, but not in the underreach.
You could see it on the cutting room floor. It's definitely there.
I don't know if I want to.
It's strange, but at least Yoko has got suds on her in that layer anyway, so it's perfectly fine on that end.
But that wasn't even the weird thing that happened in my playthrough, but that was like the post-playthrough weirdness. That's why I love Danganronpa. What I did during my playthrough is whenever I was in a 3D section, specifically because like the main 3D section you're in is like the hotel grounds, I would just make Hajime only move via sidestepping. Because at the beginning of the game I noticed there were sidestep buttons, and so I just jokingly decided to move only with the sidestep buttons for a bit, and I just decided that this was gonna be Hajime's weirdness. That like all the other characters are like, what's wrong with him?
Just imagine
why does he
slowly
only walk sideways? And as I grew to hate Hajime more and more, I grew happy that I made him as weird as he was. So everyone probably
it was in character, quote.
It was in character because of how awful Hajime was. I despise Hajime. I forgot, actually. Sorry, Hajime was Millie's favorite character. What am I saying? Not Mikan.
Hajime, he not a good character.
Yep, Hajime is... Yeah, he not a good
character, definitely.
I despise Hajime. I despise him. This is why I love Hajime Pinata.
Because either way, he's getting beat.
I can beat him with a baseball bat without, like, it being murder. Because it's a pinata.
Yeah. It could just be retribution for Mahiru, I suppose.
Yeah.
One clean hit. There we go. I think the weird thing that I did was just, I suppose it just tied to the turning with the camera. So I suppose it would just be sidestepping similar to you, but just because of the turning of the camera with the controller. This wasn't the best.
Yeah.
At least V3 did it a lot better with the optional shooter controls, which made the turning a lot better, easier to handle.
Yeah. Hey, did you compulsively check the pet as much as I did?
Often enough. I think I hatched 2 pets. I think it was Snake-Ami and Pigamy that I hatched.
Yeah, same here.
And then if I remember,
have no idea how many I hatched.
I remember in the second episode, because I had to re-record it, I just kind of disowned the pet in quotes and just had the pet die on me, even though it didn't happen in the file. But yeah, it's just a silly thing that happened on the side.
Sad. Yeah, that was so bizarre. It did not fit with the rest of the game. It was just kind of
virtual pet sim.
I mean, like, I couldn't see where they went with it because of, like, you know, like with Pokemon Go and everything, you got like that.
I mean, this wasn't 2016.
I know, but then I'm trying to think what the original one was. Little
Tamagotchi.
That's the one. Tamagotchi. I think they were trying to go on that side of things, where kids always used to have one of those, and then it came back again.
Yeah, it was fun.
So
you used to have a bunch of Tamagotchi games.
It was fun. Yeah, it was fun. Although I did not like the only thing I really didn't like about Danganronpa 2 that you moved around the island in like the weird 2D thing.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah.
instead of a 3D space. Because like in Danganronpa 1, correct me if I'm wrong, but like you move around in the 3D space.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly 3D
Yeah.
spaces and the
Same with
dioramas for the actual rooms.
Yeah, exactly. So 1 and V3 are like that, where like you move around in a 3D space, and then you have like the dioramas. But then 2 just had the side scrolling.
Yeah, and it made Hajime have
I think
weird
that's why I
looking
love the
legs.
strawberry
Yeah.
so much. It can actually move like around. Also, it was just weird.
Yeah.
I did like the little panning effects going down the stairs in both the hospital and the funhouse.
Yeah.
That was a
Oh, yeah,
nice
that was
touch.
cool.
But again, with the side scroll, like the legs on him, the Hajime, just
Them legs.
Oh god,
they were so bad.
they were so weird.
Yeah, it's like how long were they?
Expansion of the leg.
Oh.
Hajime is like 80% legs, right?
Yeah.
Oh, 40% legs. Point.
And 40% left leg, 40%, 20% rest of body.
Rest. Oh god, I can't even think. Hajime just has Bayonetta legs. Problem solved.
Yes.
Oh god. Okay, can someone make a Bayonetta skin that's just Hajime?
Just in
Because then
smash
the
up
end of
in.
Bayonetta.
can apply to Hajime. Oh my god, Hajime Bayonetta.
We did it! We found a thing! Now let's see what quick GIMP
Oh my
work
God.
does. I suppose.
Someone needs to make fan art of this.
Oh, if
Hang on, I'm on a Danganronpa Discord channel. I'm just gonna ask if someone can make a fan art of that.
That's good. Ugh.
Oh.
Oh, there's a burp that's not coming. That's disgusting. Come on. Alright, let's just move on to the last question I have lined up before we just do random points and mention. Thoughts on the ending?
The ending of Danganronpa 2.
Yeah, like maybe the whole chapter 6 as well would tie into that.
Well,
was
I was
surprising.
like, oh man, the game's going Doki Doki on me. But I've never played Doki Doki, but I've seen it. And I'm like, thinking to myself, but this game probably came out before Doki Doki.
Yep,
right?
it
And
did.
Quick Google. Okay,
Because
yes, it did.
Danganronpa 1 was 2010, I remember. The original PSP version.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I did like that aesthetic. It was bizarre, but I liked it. I
Yeah.
did not like the 3D Junko, but I did like the cell phone Junko.
Yeah, AI Junko.
Yeah.
Yeah, and while I don't think any of the Danganronpa games have a good final chapter in terms of how they do it, it's all very plot dumpy
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like weird, bizarre, like cinematic use of the mini games that I think V3 did a pretty good job, but I won't like
Yeah, no elaborations.
no elaborations, but I think V3 did a good job of like making the cinematic stuff.
Even
work
if
a
I
bit
fell for
better.
that trap myself. At least the first time.
Yeah, but I think Danganronpa 2's was just like move on with it. But the content itself of the plot dump, I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
Like I think they did it bad, but I think that it was really great. I like the content of the story. So, yeah, I really.
I mean, I liked it. In fact, as well, they brought back, I think it was four of the original
Makoto,
characters,
Byakuya, and Kyoko.
and Junko as well, which was like
Yes.
But the fact they brought back those three, it gave you that like extra bit of hope, kind of.
Yeah.
So
If anyone remembers me, when Byakuya shows up, I mentioned specifically, where is she? And the reason why I said that was because I hadn't finished another episode of Spare Girls, and I was hoping for Toko to show up. But the reason why Toko wasn't there was because of events in Ultra Spare Girls. Aoi didn't show up because she's in a different division of Future Foundation, and Yasuhiro is just Yasuhiro, nobody likes him.
Yeah, exactly. I don't actually know how much. Like, I really don't know. I really need to look up another episode and like watch them because I have no idea what happened. My knowledge of like Future Foundation like post stuff like all comes from the Despair arc. No, the Future arc. Wow.
Yeah, from the anime.
So, but other than that, I have no idea. I love that. I love that anime. By the way. It was great.
Yeah, another episode is pretty good. It's probably my favorite Resident Evil game that's ever been released.
hey,
I mean, it's true. It's basically a third-person shooter.
I will give you that. Actually, it's like a Resident Evil game there.
And it's got
It is
ammo
a
conservation and
Resident
shit
Evil
like
game,
that.
isn't it?
Just Psychopunk Resident Evil.
Yeah.
I mean that's pretty accurate.
And I do really like just the idea of having the critical shot being monochromous with the left eye.
Yeah, because. Well.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. That's all the different bullets. But yeah, I think on the ending for me, I actually did really enjoy it. It's probably my favorite ending out of the 3 because of just... What? Hey! I'm not specifying V3, I'm just saying it's probably one of my favorites. It's just that there's a lot of things that they do release and just the ideas of where the despairs will go after they got out of the game world. That's just fun to think about.
Yeah. Alright, best boys. Let's,
Best boys.
Best boys. Yeah. I have my best boys ranking, up here.
Yeah.
Remember when I sent that to you? Yeah.
That was a long time ago, but I remember you saying that you changed your mind for a couple of them.
I think the only one I really changed my mind for was I switched Kaito and Kokichi in the best boy ranking because I listed Kaito as the best boy, but it's actually Kokichi.
Yep, true.
Both. So like, yeah. Bottom of the list is still Korekio, obviously, because ew.
Because reasons.
Just ew. Just
some reason his kind of moral thinking is kind of on the left and right of a seesaw. If you catch my drift.
His love hotel scene as well.
Oh, I haven't seen any of the love hotels. Those should be fun to get to.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Nor have I.
They are. Those are something.
I think
those are.
Jesus.
I gotta say, I've seen one online and I regretted watching it because it was a best boy.
Which one?
Oh damn it! I keep forgetting names.
Describe.
Seesaw.
Oh, if that's who we're talking about, Korekio.
Yeah, Korekio. No, I know what you're talking about. This is why Korekio is at the bottom of the best boy list.
I mean, he's a good character.
I like his design.
I like his design, and I like what they did with the character, but I don't like the character in the sense of I like having him speak and exist in the game. I was very happy to see him.
Speaking of kind of racy subjects, something I mentioned in the actual trial that I put in as a little text note, but do you remember the line where Makoto was explaining how one couple of residents of Despair had tried to have the sex with Junko's body? The reason why it's kind of out there is because I think the Japanese version actually states that one of the remnants of Despair implanted Junko's womb into their body, so any baby they birth would be Junko's.
Oh!
So, it's whichever you think hits better.
Wait, then here's the question, who? Which
Most
one?
likely Mikan.
Yeah, that makes sense. She probably did the surgery herself.
And then there were some people who were speculating that maybe the person who replaced their eye with Junko's eye might have just been Fuyuhiko, and that's why he has the scar and Danganronpa 3, but
Huh. Yeah, that was weird because he has a scar in real life, even though he lost his eye in the virtual reality.
Yeah, that's unless it actually did happen in real life during those 3 years.
Because he lost his eye during an execution, maybe that was to fill in for the fact that in real life he lost his eye.
Yeah, I suppose it just didn't function anymore. But yeah. Although speaking of things about functioning, there's also the OVA featuring Nagito Kameda that I think was called 2.5, Super Nagito 2.5, something like that. I watched that recently, and that was an interesting ride with all the stuff that happens, and it explains what happens at the end of 3. I won't say much more.
I should see that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's funny.
I should watch that.
It's got Nagito, Kazuo. Oh yeah, back to Best Boys, I suppose. Hiko, then followed by Gundam.
If we're going by only Danganronpa 2, the highest best boy on my best boy ranking is Nagito Komaeda, tied at 2nd/3rd place with Kaito Momota.
Nice
start. But the next one down, actually it's down to number 7. The top 6 has only 1 from Danganronpa 2.
Wow.
4 is Chihiro. 5 is Kibo, 6 is Shuichi Saihara, but 7 is Fuyuhiko, 8 is Gundam.
Mm.
I mean, can we really count Kibo as a boy though?
Dude, Keebs is alright. Keebs is a cool dude.
He's a robot though, I mean, he doesn't...
Kibo is a best boy.
Yeah.
Keebs is chill.
I gotta say though, Nekomaru. Come on.
Oh wow. I have him like in the middle. I have him like pretty in the middle. The absolute middle is Kazuichi, but Nekomaru is a little below him.
Well, the reason why I'm saying Nekomaru is because of it.
Really? You want to be massaged?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, by the ultimate masseuse, Nekomaru
Shit!
will die.
I need to take a shit.
Yeah,
A good
my God.
breakfast, a good exercise routine, and a good shit!
Yeah, Nekomaru was he certainly was something, wasn't he?
He's an entertaining character,
Oh yeah.
which is why I said it was just like I didn't overly hate people. It's just everyone was a decent cast.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I have a really out there ship that crosses game lines.
All right.
But okay, Kazuichi x Mew.
Kazuichi and who? What? Sorry.
Mew.
Oh,
Mew.
I see.
It works perfectly. The mechanic and the inventor.
Yeah.
And just based on their
UTDPs.
that I think they would work exceptionally well together. Actually, I think they really would. I think
Kazuichi
actually
would
a
scream
little
proud of all of it.
Yeah.
I think they work together a little too perfectly that it's almost scary that they weren't in the same game to have that be
Yeah.
a dynamic.
I mean,
Like,
if
I think it's a little too perfect.
If Miyu had used her unused invention, quote quote, that probably would not have been a good item for Kazuichi. That's silly. I suppose on the other end of the spectrum, best girl.
Best girl. All right, let's see. I mean, I already know who the top of my best girl list is. It's not even a question. It's Chiaki. But
I've already mentioned Dwayne earlier.
Chiaki is top, but in retrospect, I actually do find both the other two surviving females to be really good, like Sonya and Akane.
oh yeah, I
retrospect,
really do like Sonya.
even though I didn't really spend much time with
Actually,
them.
I have listed higher than Mahiru, even though my first impressions Mahiru was better. But I really liked Peko. Actually, I was drawn to Peko quite a bit.
Yeah, she's
Her name is wonderful.
Echo
Yeah.
Yama.
Peko Pekoyama is such an amazing name. It really is.
It's like you think.
I believe I read on the wiki that Peko is some kind of onomatopoeia for something, but I can't remember. I think there's also something about how Peko isn't really a name you could write in Chinese, but I might be wrong. Text editors will obviously help me at the end. But yeah. Let's see.
Worst girl. As much as this might be offensive to some people from Danganronpa 1, my worst girl listed is Sakura. I think she's a little too buff. I don't like the buff characters. Like even the guys. Like I don't like Gonta or Nekomaru because of their body type. I like Gonta because he's just a beam. But
Yeah.
Sakura was never someone I was like super. But like if we ignore Sakura, then the lowest is Hyoko. Hyoko. was,
4chan in the bottle, of course. Who could forget?
Yeah. Although I also have Toko listed pretty low, so I know you wouldn't like that.
Yeah, I know. I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry about
It's
that.
fine. It's fine. People have opinions. They stick to them.
Don't worry, my
That's a
opinion changed after I played the first Danganronpa.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I might have actually changed. Like, I made this list in like early December. I'm already seeing a change I'd want to make because I have Tenko listed like third from the bottom, and I don't agree with that anymore.
Nah.
Well, I'd say my best girl, as I mentioned earlier, Kimiko.
Well, yeah, that's a V3, but
Yeah. But,
Yeah, Himiko is certainly something.
Yeah. But
Kim-
from D2, as I'm going to call it, it's obviously Chiaka because it's just someone you get along with quite well.
Chiaki.
Exactly.
Chiaki is like specifically crafted to be like the perfect character that everyone loves and to be the best girl. Like they
Yep.
did, as much as it's like kind of like, oh, it's just bait. Like at the same time, like they did a good job.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the fun fact that you could probably catch on early on if you realize that Chiaki is based off of Chi from the Chi Hero and Iaki from Fujisaki. Fun fact. Oh shit.
Audible,
He died.
Audible
No,
surprise.
I'm alive.
Okay.
Audible surprise.
Audible death.
No, but I gotta say, my worst girl, Ultimate Nurse, that name.
Mikan Suikiva.
No offense to
Sorry,
anyone.
I didn't hear that. Did he say Mikan was his worst girl?
Yeah.
Because she was with Jungo, and it just, like, as soon as she said that, I was like, why?
Honestly, like Hyoko was a little endearing. I did not enjoy Mikan throughout. Like just to you, Josh. My goal with our character Noriko.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my goal is to make Mikan, but a version of Mikan I would have enjoyed. That's my goal with that character.
Yeah.
So it's part of the reason why I created her. That's a whole discussion. I don't know if we're gonna like get into that.
We're probably not gonna get into it at this point.
Probably not gonna get into it right now.
I suppose we could just move on to random points of mention. So the first thing I've got written down that I haven't mentioned already, there's kind of two groups of people that you could say would watch the series. It was either the same boat as me, who has played through DR1 and hasn't seen anything in DR2, and those who have seen the game before and can watch it through. But then also, once you've finished the series, you can go back and look at all the things that you can notice in the game. Because if Danganronpa is good at anything, it's good at really hiding those details that you could spot in hindsight.
So good.
Again,
like it's ridiculously good. Like even V3. Like I mean, if the first trial alone is enough, but like you can actually see hints left by the mastermind. Like no details, like obviously, but like the mastermind, like you see hints. Like there are hints throughout, like as early as like the prologue. Like it's ridiculous. Like, they really foreshadow it so well, and they make you like remember things. Like, oh my god, I remembered that they demonstrated that a hamster can push a button. They gave precedent that hamsters can push buttons.
Right. Good old Gundam. It was fun.
That was another thing I loved about Chapter 4, that they specifically made sure that you knew that hamsters can press buttons in a way that didn't feel forced, but was also significant enough to stand out in your memory, so that you remember it when you find out what happened.
Yeah.
That was kind of another thing I forgot in the Chapter 4 trial. I forgot about him pushing the button to open the door for Strawberry Tower, but I also remembered Case 3 Investigation, where he sent one of the hamsters up to the railing to pick up a piece of wallpaper. So I suppose I was kind of in the same boat. And then my initial thoughts were that he used the hamsters to distract Nekomaru somehow, and then he just snuck up behind and pressed the goodnight button. Not the other way around, where the hamsters went over and hit the button for him.
Yeah.
The hamsters were fun.
Yeah. The 4 Dark Days of Destruction.
What are their names again?
I think they're all named after shonen magazines I remember reading. I think Jumpy, Sangdi. Oh, I can't.
Shimpai, is it? Or Shimpy? No?
I don't know. You've got the wiki. You can find it if you want, but I don't know.
I had him open just a second ago.
Yeah, the next thing I've written down, I suppose, it's a good thing I didn't record V3 for my own personal playthrough for like the continuation series, because the gambling probably would just be a lot of wasted time in episodes. Because I spent a lot of time in the gambling, my money's away.
I think everyone did.
It's fun!
I tried not to get like too into that, but whenever I did gamble, it was always very specifically with the fish game.
Yeah, the fish game was fun. Once I got used to it, I got
really like, because I despise the driving.
Yeah.
The driving was off.
Psych Taxi was just kind of one of those things that was kind of there. Even with the skill which gave you like multiple letters per block hit, it just kind of still went too slow.
It went way too slow. Like, as much as like Logic Dive was really weird and made no sense and was like, this is dumb, it was still like infinitely better.
Logic Dive?
It was kind of fun. It was like kind of fun. Like, even though you don't want to admit that you're having fun playing Logic Dive, like you're playing Logic Dive and you're thinking, this is stupid, why am I doing this? But at the same time, you're secretly having fun.
Yeah.
And then Psych Taxi was not.
Yeah, Psych Taxi wasn't the best. I loved Mine, especially the gambling mine for the Mine.
I think you mean Imagination Excavation.
That's what it is. Imagination
It
Excavation.
has two names. It has two names in the game. I was so confused.
Yeah, it's
like
strange.
some text refers to it as mind mine, but some refers to it as imagination excavation, and I much prefer the second.
Yeah, but at least the argument armament was a lot better.
Yeah.
In the third game, in V3, oh my god. So, I had lag issues in Danganronpa 2 for parts of it. And I was so confused as to why, because I'm like, how is this lagging? This is a visual novel. Like, my computer is not that bad. It's a visual novel. How is this happening?
It just kind of does.
What happened was the very first argument amarment. Sorry, no, not argument amarment. Whatever it was called in the second game.
Panic talk action.
Panic talk action. Yeah. So the first time I did it, it lagged so much it was unplayable, and somehow, like, even though it wasn't lagging before that, the visual novel sections started lagging after that, and the lag only went away like midway through the daily life of chapter 3. Like, it would like have occasional, like, pretty frequent spots of lags throughout. But even when the lag went away, it was always our panic talk action that lagged immensely to the point it was unplayable. I do not understand.
And that was a couple of times where I experienced lag during my playthrough, but the major one was the fact that the first 2 episodes were recorded on my old laptop, and even if episode 2 will be sorely missed, the original file is just that there's just a ton of lag happened there in order to get the recording dead.
Yeah.
So, luckily I was able to actually get my shit together and actually continue the series up to this point, which I'm surprised I am. Because if not, then I probably wouldn't be at this point right now in terms of Danganronpa. I've seen so many Vine comps.
Yeah, I almost spoiled the first time from P2, I just remembered.
Oh yeah, that was the thing. I think this was way back.
Did anyone like the swords?
Oh, the swords.
Did anyone like the swords?
Rebuttal showdown.
Did anyone like the swords?
I didn't really like it, to be honest.
I didn't really like it. I think they did it a little better in V3, but I still don't like the swords. I think they can do better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, like, Logic Dive had a complete redesign. They should do that for the swords. They should just completely redesign the swords.
If we're talking about V3 for a second, one thing I absolutely love, and so does a lot of other people, debate scrums. They are too good.
Oh, debate scrum, and also the mass panic debate.
Yeah.
I adored the mass panic debate for like literally just 3 lines of voice acting going on at once. It really does but debate scrum was great.
I think it was lucky that I had the skill that automatically silenced the over-encumbering noises during the mass panic debate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I was able to just focus.
I had that too. But debate scrum was great. Argument Amarment was, I think, the only good rhythm game in the series.
Yeah, I think if I just go back now and think about it, I think what you had to do in DR2 for hitting the stuff is you had to hold the button a little bit longer than I was, instead of just tapping.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong.
My lag was too much to even do it. I'm gonna tell you exactly. I would press and hold R for the focus, and I would mash the A button. And then I would wait for the focus to recharge. I would press and hold focus, mash the A button, and 2 full charges of focus won the game for me. That was literally, it was not even, like, anywhere close to playable, and the focus was too good. But I'm glad the focus was too good, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to beat that.
Focus is really helpful. I found out after looking at all the achievements that there's apparently an achievement in DR2 where you have to get through a whole trial without focusing.
If not for Panic Talk Action, I could probably do that, but that would not be possible for me.
Yeah. And I think because of the Hangman's Gambit, I probably couldn't do the other achievement where you don't take damage.
Hangman's Gambit is
You forgot that for a reason.
Oh no! I remember it. I heard someone describe Danganronpa 2 as the game with the Hangman's Gambit that makes you want to hang yourself, and I'm like, I mean, maybe a little extreme, but that was some. It was very, very, very difficult. It was very difficult. Does anyone remember the sudden spike in difficulty when all of a sudden in the 5th trial, like 12 letters spawned at once?
Yeah, that was during chapter 6. I remember that. That was actually kind of fun to do. It was slow enough to handle for me, but.
I took damage. I couldn't help it.
I don't think there was any kind of specific instance in DR2 of a Hangman's Gambit really getting me and not really understanding what it was. It's not like it's a schizo, but it would probably, I think...
It's not like it's a schizo or a rope way.
Ropeway was probably the one that was the first I encountered, and then Seesaw
Ropeway
happened.
got me. I got Seesaw Effect. I actually did get Seesaw Effect.
There was also another one at the end of the game, but I'm not going to say it.
Let's see here. Schizo, I know was really bad. That was really bad. Dude, DM me the one that's a spoiler. I want to see. I don't know which one.
Okay, I will do once I find my phone, which is probably somewhere else.
Is it Trial 4?
Thank you. I think it was... it was a little bit of trouble, but I think it was the last trial.
Oh, was it the last trial? Oof.
Yeah.
I know one that got me was, like, the one I just DM'd
Yeah,
you.
don't look at it.
That's the one that I had a little bit of trouble with. I think just the wording that they used. I don't remember the specific wording, but Hangman's Gambit I think is good.
Yeah, now it's coming back to me. I remember now.
Yeah, it was that one. So I think it's not like you said, it's no Schizo. As much as I've never played the game, like just hearing that was one you had to do in Hangman's Gambit, that's terrifying.
And that was chapter 2. They had to do that.
Oh god, yeah, because that's when
Toko shows up and like, hey, I'm suddenly the best character now.
Yeah, that was really. Yeah. So that's a mean Hangman's Gambit. But I also just think that the Hangman's Gambit game itself was very difficult in the second game.
Yeah.
Third game I think had probably the best iteration of Hangman's Gambit.
Improved.
Yeah, definitely improved, but there was still some like Ropeway.
Yeah.
That one got me for a while. That got me for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now for the next random weird point to mention, the video sizes of the actual videos. For some reason, when I would put them back into Handbrake in order to get the raw files over to put them into Adobe Premiere, because the raw OBS files wouldn't actually translate correctly, they would also like automatically crop them to a certain size, which is only a little bit smaller than 1280 720. And because of that, they're only a tiny bit smaller, and that's why on YouTube they're only available in 480p and not 720. It's strange, but it's a thing.
That is strange.
I haven't noticed it really.
Yeah, because you probably don't even need to watch it, or haven't even watched it, unless you have, and I just don't know.
I've seen a few episodes.
No, that's good.
I've seen a few episodes, like, to see some reaction, because like, you know, it's fun to see reactions, and of course I saw The Void.
The Void is unmissable. I'm mistaken. I'll link you to it.
Yeah.
It really is unmissable.
Mm-hmm. And
okay, so I guess one other thing that we haven't mentioned, is everyone in agreement that Closing Argument is the best minigame?
yeah, it's pretty good.
Definitely.
Always enjoyed it.
It's just so consistently good across all the games. I remember when I was first reading it, it's like, you will assemble the events in a comic book style. I'm like, what is this? What's happening? Why is the game doing this?
Yeah.
But
You put it into the style of Japanese manga.
Yeah, because even the way it goes away, like each chapter you do slides to the right, just like a Japanese manga.
Yeah, it goes right to left, which I honestly did not realize. Like I just unconsciously like was reading it right to left. No, I guess like in the back of my mind I knew it was like, this is a Japanese game, read it from right to left. But I never like was like, what's happening? Oh wait, read right to left. I just like default to that somehow.
Yeah.
Since I was 16, I kind of understand how it was. Plus, back in my schooling, I actually had the 10 box set of Legend of Zelda mangas that someone got me, I read them. I was used to it. They're fun.
I mean, I've read enough manga to like be used to that. But for me, when the Closing Argument came up, because at this point swords hadn't come in. So that was the weird, and neither had Logic Dive. So that was the weirdest minigame that had come up.
Yeah.
Right, because we hadn't reached either Logic Dive or swords. So I'm like, what is this, man? This is so weird. And then, you know, then swords.
Speaking of things that I only just remembered, there was another thing that I kind of almost got slightly spoiled on, but only because of kind of seeing it over and over again. Because I'm subscribed to Great Moments in LPing, and they do their videos. A long time ago, they uploaded a Nico B highlight for Chapter 1's Panda Talk action, specifically on the bone meat. I didn't watch it during the playthrough, but I was aware of it, so you might have heard me mention a couple of times adding the word meat after saying meat on the bone, so that was a thing that I was aware of, but only now do I know the real context of.
Yeah, it's meat on the bone, not like on the bone meat or on the meat bone.
Yeah. I think I did pretty well with those during
the meat on bone.
Yeah. I think there was a couple of times where I stumbled on figuring out what the last word was, but I was mostly decently well with them.
Yeah, I think overall I was pretty alright with those ones too, but there was a few, you know, like, kind of stumbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now for next thing, which is kind of stranger, episode 35. As I might have mentioned before, but I have a syncing file that I have, which is just my usual way of recording, just kind of a slight thing, just to make sure I can keep things in time, in case there's some editing screw-ups or whatever. But for episode 35, and it carries over to the first episode of F as well, at the time, my mum was downstairs doing some housework, and she had some Queen music on in the background. And it was apparently loud enough that it can be kind of muffled heard throughout the syncing file, and that got claimed on YouTube.
Oh god.
So I had to use an external method of downloading the MP4.
I mean, that really...
It's silly, but thank god it didn't show up in the actual, like, Audacity file, so I was able to avoid that kind of deal. That was a silly little thing.
Yeah. I was gonna say, that's quite weird.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I suppose the last thing that I've gotten points to mention, but I could probably look through the rest of my notes to see any other things. The Leighton edit in episode 3. I only put in some random pictures that I thought would be funny to have in this. I put in the man's nut. I also put in the Monokuma and Monami doing their stand-up later on in the episode. But the other ones I put in were not really intended to be kind of accurate. Like, I put Chiaki in there. And I didn't think that she would be a mystery until the very end. Then there's also Fakia, who was thinking. I didn't think he would be a mystery until that point. And I also put Apollo Justice there because at that time I was working on the Apollo Justice compilation, which has very much obviously been out for a long while now.
Yeah.
Plus some other stuff too. Gotcha!
What?
Eureka! That's the wrong series.
What?
No, it's the same series, but
objection!
Wrong game. Oh, wait, damn it. Oh, yeah. Let's just see. Any other things we could put in? I might even just link the document in the description of all my notes on the series anyway. So one of my notes that I put in here, well, at the end of the prologue, I put Bulky Togami is still a mystery, and he doesn't remember Monokuma for some reason. And Terra is a terrible person.
Yes.
It was funny reading those notes because at one point you're like, oh my god, I love Protect Sumiki, and then like a few sentences later, it's like, oh gosh, she's dead.
Yeah.
Protect Sumiki.
Just before Chapter 1 investigation, where the hell is Kuzuryu? What's in the bar?
Oh yeah.
And holy shit, Fakio's fucking dead. I think what happened to Kameda, still kind of up in the air for who killed Fakio. I don't know how arguments work apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one thing that's I never really noticed. It's hard to notice until like you compare it directly. But the art style in Danganronpa 2 is very line art style.
Yeah,
there's like thick.
It's thicker.
borders.
Like specifically with characters like Fakia and Teru. It's noticeably like a thicker line to border everyone.
Yeah, it's super thick, and you don't really realize it until because in V3,
Ultimate Talent Development Plan.
There's a like post game thing where like all the characters are there, and so like the characters from the different games are interacting, and so you see like a Danganronpa 1 character next to a Danganronpa 2 character next to a Danganronpa 3 character,
and it's
like
strange.
just look at the Danganronpa 2, and it's like, huh, I never realized.
I mean, it's still just kind of the same style because it's the same people, but it's just strange to just have like a thicker outline for one specific entry.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I did like how it looks.
Hey, I'm looking at the cutting room floor, and I'm seeing an entire page dedicated to Logic Dive maps, and it's just a grid laid out of the maps for the Logic Dives.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I remember seeing that was a sub-page on there.
Yeah.
Almost forgot
But yeah,
about
that's kind of fun.
Yeah, at the end of episode 8, I forgot about the bomb in the middle of the island for some reason.
Oh yeah.
I mean, after what?
Everyone loves that picture of Kazuichi just getting tossed across the room
yeah.
by the bomb. That was incredible.
I was worried for him at the moment.
I'm
was
like,
funny
oh my
to
god,
see.
wait, did he just die? I'm like, oh my god, did they just kill Soda? But he was fine, luckily. Thank
Poor
God.
Kazuchi.
Poor Kazuchi, indeed. Mr. Soda.
The end of
Poor
chapter.
Kazooie Soda.
Oh, I guess if I have any other questions, here. How long, on average, now that you've played like a few Danganronpa games, how long on average does it take for you to like have everyone's names memorized?
2 chapters.
I think it's around chapter 3-4ish when things start locking in for me.
Oh, that's pretty late.
I might be wrong though, because I there's a point where I'm just like, okay, who's who? I'm not sure who well, but then there's a point where things lock in. I can just immediately talk about, oh, this is Fuyuhiko, this is Teru, this is Nekamaru, or Mekamaru in
I
some
remember
cases.
Danganronpa 2 in the first case had like 5 different pieces of evidence.
5
that were,
accounts,
like,
yeah.
accounts. Yeah, and so it was just like Kazuichi's account. I'm like, who the hell is Kazuichi? Nekamaru's account. Who is? I don't remember these people's names yet. The game just started. It's kind of sad that I put, like, when playing through a Danganronpa game, I put way more effort in trying to memorize the names than I do in real life to try and remember people's names.
Ah.
It's like when you study more in Persona than you do in real life.
I like him more already.
Okay. You got a 5 boy
Like,
over
you know-
here.
Because I'm not very good with names or faces. But then Danganronpa, it's like, alright, I'm like, it's fine. Like, I have classes with these people, but I don't really need to know their names. Danganronpa starts, okay, I need to memorize, I need to put, like, all my energy towards memorizing these names. This is the most important thing in my life right now.
I mean,
Gotta focus.
I might have to go back onto a point in Danganronpa 1. It's like when I first started playing it, and I got to know the characters. The first character I got to know was Sayaka.
Sayaka.
And then,
Sayaka.
spoilers if they haven't seen it.
Sayaka is the first casualty of the killing
she got
game.
killed. And I was quite sad, and I was like, now whose name am I gonna remember?
What if you forgot Makoto?
I actually didn't remember his name though.
Ah.
There was a weird, like transition period in between, like, that I had to get used to the fact that, the Danganronpa 1 characters, because you see, in the anime, at least in the dub, they refer to each other by last name.
Yeah.
So I actually learned everyone's, like, from Danganronpa 1 by their last name. Not, right? So I know Naegi and Asahina and Kirigiri, right?
That's
like,
very...
those are the first names that, that I know in my mind.
Yeah.
Right?
You
like,
can notice
Yasuhiro
in the
Hagakure.
early episodes of the series that I was kind of like that as well. Because if I was talking to at the time...
But, so for the longest time, especially Ishimaru, you know, Kiyotaka
Oh, yeah.
Ishimaru, it took me way too long to actually have his name memorized, like, to know, because that was the one character I kept being like, oh, what's his first name? I do not remember.
Memorizing names is tolerable in a school environment.
Yes, memorizing names is very acceptable in a school environment.
There we go.
Except I actually don't do that in the real school
Oh
environment.
yeah, true.
I'm just,
Only talk with the people you want to talk with. No.
oh yeah.
I mean, you
It gets to the point where I'm like, alright, I've had like 7 classes with this person, and they clearly know me and know my name, and I don't know. I feel bad now.
Yeah.
It's too late.
It's like you just sit in the corner alone, like, who is everyone? Why am I here?
Like, I recognize their face, and I recognize that I should know their name, but I just don't know their name.
Yeah.
And they know my name, and it feels so awkward, because I can't ask. You can't ask at that point.
It's like people are complicated or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Truly
just be a Danganronpa character, and I'll memorize your name.
Oh yeah.
Show me an anime picture and I'll remember you.
I had a memory issue, because I randomly decided one day, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write down a list of every single anime character's name that I know. Because, like, you don't remember names very well. I'm like, I'm only gonna count the character if I know their first and last name. I'm like, shouldn't be too bad. But, oh my god, I could barely get anyone. So, eventually, I'm like, okay, I'll start doing Danganronpa characters. And for the most part, I got it. But I was so upset at myself that I was having lapses in memory. I'm like, oh, what's the Yakuza his name. I'm like, how can I not remember his name?
Yeah.
It was so fun. What's Hyoko's last name? What's her last name? I don't remember it. Like, it's Sanjo? What's her last name? Is it like Sanjo? I was so upset at myself. It was so, it was kind of mentally torturous. Like, no, I should know this. How do I not know?
I suppose looking back at these notes, there's something else that I thought would be important to note. I got hung up a lot on who Sato was and why there are two Kuzuryus, even though it was explained in the game slightly who Kuzuryu was and who Sato was, but thankfully in Danganronpa 3 there is an instance where you can see what it truly is. Danganronpa 3 itself does wrap up a couple of ends that you might not have known about, especially for those who aren't in Japanese-speaking countries concerning episode 7 of Despair Side. But hey.
What was that one?
It's because Danganronpa 0 focuses around the student council members.
The student council?
Yeah.
Oh wait, so hang on, so
the initial killing game with Izuru.
Original killing.
Oh wow, really? Like that was
Yeah, that was Danganronpa 0.
Anime, the reference to what is Danganronpa 0? Is that like
It's a light novel.
So it's a light novel made by interesting. So that it's a reference. So it's Danganronpa 0. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I just remember how like that was like it was a great scene. Like that was a really great scene.
Yeah. Great scene that everyone got traumatized by.
Oh yeah, that was amazing. And you don't really realize how much Danganronpa is protecting you by using pink blood. Like because as soon as like you watch the Danganronpa 3 anime and they are using red blood, all of a sudden it's like, oh god, oh wait, no, please go back to pink. I didn't realize it made that much of a difference, but it does.
Yeah.
And then Despair Side does use pink blood, which is the thing I noticed.
Despair pink blood, but like the future arc is just like, no, the blood's gonna be red in this, and also it's gonna just be the Despair Side, the future side, but I can't speak.
Yeah, I'd have to show you, Rob, a picture that I took where I kind of went into Premiere Pro and took the pink coloring of Nagito's death scene and changed it to red, and it does look a lot more brutal that way.
Do you have that readily available? Please post
yeah,
that
I think
in
I
the chat.
do.
I wanna see it.
Please
post that in the chat. I want to see that.
I'm looking at a crate of Tango Orange.
Yeah, I know. It's things that I
I'm
got.
just thinking like if they changed the orange.
There we go.
It's like,
I labeled it the colored dead just to remember. Please actually have done that. Or not.
actually, I don't think Rob has seen Hajime Pinata or the Nagito. So
I think I showed in the Hydra. But
Oh,
Yeah,
I've already seen
there's the
it.
color dead.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Like it's pretty bad. They really censor it.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. What?
It's a ridiculous kind of thing.
Like,
I can't tell if that's his response to the Nagito's
the
red blood
Nagito
thing or
death.
the Hajime Pinata.
Oh no, I'm gonna look at it on my phone just to like.
To get a good idea of it.
It was about a 50-50 chance as to whether or not that was reacting to the Nagito death or the Hajime Pinata.
If it was the Hajime Pinata, it would have been.
Yeah.
I mean, like they're equally as disturbing.
Yeah. I mean, it does suit him though, the Pinata. So.
It does. I remember. I'm like, oh man, remember that Hajime face where yelling in despair? It was,
Yeah.
I was so close to putting, that like Hajime face where he's kind of looking to the side and like laughing.
Yeah, the one that's used during the sick trial.
Yeah, like that's right. I know that's like really memed a lot.
Yeah,
So
I
wasn't sure
used
if I
that
should
one
use
for
that face.
the stomach ulcer edit.
I did
I
try to
wasn't
say
sure
this.
if I should use that one for the Hajime Pinata, but I ended up going with the despair Hajime.
It was this one, I think.
So
You know
wanted to
the
suffer.
red blood transfer? That,
Yeah.
It's an image that you can't look away from, but you want to so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's really disturbing seeing Nagito like with the red blood. Like
Yeah.
You're so glad. Like it's just such a good decision to make it pink, because otherwise it would be a lot more gruesome than it actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like imagine the I'm not gonna spoil anything. The second death the second victim in V3.
Oh yeah.
Like, imagine that if that was red. Oh god.
Oh god, that'd be.
Yeah, that would be really skirting the lines.
That would be insane. That would be awful.
Just to see.
Like, just thinking about like everything, like literally everything. Imagine the fourth execution. Like the fourth execution of V3.
Oh yeah. No, no.
Disturbing as all hell. That would be a bit much.
But hey, if the executions have one thing, pretty much consistently have good music.
Yeah.
I do like V3's full execution because of its styling, because of that music as well.
The executions in V3 were very gruesome.
Yeah, I think the reason why is because I think Kodaka himself could step back into the limelight to do all those. Whereas I think the first 3 of 2 were done by different people. I think that's what I remember reading. So yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, like I think the 5th one wasn't that gruesome, but like it didn't need to be gruesome. But like the first 4 are like they're pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, as well, as soon as you see the first execution in D3, you're just there going, wait, what? You're just so surprised how brutal it is.
Yep, that's the whole point.
It was the whole point. It was like, okay, so you know this awesome twist we just pulled that wrenched your heart? Alright, we're gonna do it, we're gonna wrench your heart more by making it incredibly brutal.
Yeah. But it's like, if you remember the first execution from the very first game, that was just him being brutally hit with baseballs.
Yep, 1,000 blows.
I mean, that was pretty brutal still, though.
And then you go to, like, hanging onto a piano, pressing the keyboard, having your back scratched into oblivion.
Like, poor Shuichi.
Yeah, I mean, that, yeah.
And then a robot thrown at you.
Yeah, yeeted the boy.
They yeeted the boy.
That was my exact quote when I saw that scene in V3.
I remember you said that to me. Like, I think I was at school, and like, I just got a text from you, and it just says, they yeeted the boy, and it had the picture of them throwing Kibo. And I'm like, yes, this is very accurate. Imagine how the executions have changed. Imagine, like, on a motorbike in, like, the cage turning into butter.
Yeah.
Turning into butter.
Yeah.
And then we go to, like, any other execution other than turning into butter.
I think the turning into butter one is a reference to an old folk tale where a tiger ran so fast around a tree or something.
Yes, I've heard of that,
became
but
butter.
It's still funny. It's still funny that
that would make sense.
I watched a video of Luke Jim reacting to all the deaths in Danganronpa 1, and she got that right away, but most people did not get that illusion.
Yeah, I've never heard that folktale, but apparently it's a folktale.
Yeah.
Although I will say it made that one scene in the Danganronpa 3 Future arc, where Makoto, I almost called him Naegi, where Makoto is like being sad about all like the people that died in the first Killing game, and like he's seeing their corpses. But then that is just a pile of butter with his
coat on it. Yeah.
Like, as much as that was supposed to be, like, an emotional scene, and it was, as soon as that was shown on screen, I just started laughing, and I couldn't stop. They ruined it. They ruined it.
You ruined it.
You ruined it with the butter. They really did ruin it with the butter.
Oh, yeah. Looking at these stuff again. How come Sonya's a victim, but also alive? That was just me mistaking Fuyuhiko's sister for Sonya. Which I did again with the adult Hyoko for some reason. For some reason I just wanted Sonya to be this other person, and I don't know why.
You just have that compulsion to make Sonya someone else, like someone else Sonya. You just want everyone.
You want everyone to be Sonya because she's
Personia. Haha.
Because she's what?
She's a Personia.
That's dumb.
Let's see here. What else?
Peko shifted to a suspect. Fuyuhiko is an innocent boy until proven guilty.
Oh, I remember what it was. I remember. So, I guess one other note on the topic of Fuyuhiko. Why was his voice different in the Danganronpa 3 anime? They managed to get, for the dub, they managed to get some of the same voice actors from.
I think they got Bryce or
They got some that weren't the same, but sounded close enough. that like, okay, this is like, I can still tell like this is the same character voice. But then for Fuyuhiko, it was just completely different.
Yeah, it was strange.
It was like, what?
Definitely wasn't Derek Stephen Prince, and it wasn't who I thought it was originally during Case 2. It's not Michael from Rooster Teeth.
He didn't have the baby gangster voice.
Yeah, baby gangster.
AKA the same voice as the dreaded Nagito Hydra.
Yeah.
Kokichi Oma.
Yeah. Kokichi Oma.
I remember freaking out when I started V3 and it was like the beginning crowds and like I heard like someone speak and it was Fuyuhiko. I'm like, well, why is Fuyuhiko here? I don't see him. Where is he?
Fun thing about V3, I had no idea about the full-on meme status of Kaede's lie until actually finishing the game.
But that's Kaede's lie, isn't it?
Kaede is the same voice actress as Kyoko.
Yeah, there's a lot of shared actresses and actors in 3.
I think every single
V3.
character in V3 has a shared one. Because,
Yeah.
like, Himiko is Chiaki. Which is mind-blowing. Like, it really is. And Korekio is Teru Teru.
I think if I remember, Kibo was Hifumi.
I think so.
That sounds correct.
But
But
just imagine, like the guy who plays Teru Teru, and then he's like, oh man, they're calling me back to play another character. Maybe this time I'll have like a voice, like maybe I'll get to voice not a weirdo. Okay, so you're gonna
you gotta be voicing this guy who does
never mind.
things.
see something.
Cease with that.
There are a lot of shared voice actors. Like Mew is Akane,
Yeah.
which I noticed. I noticed more. She also has the same voice as Athena from Ace Attorney.
Hey, Venus Lakes.
Now, fun fact. And also, yeah. So that's a fun thing.
Then there's Angie and Aoi.
Angie, wait, is Angie voiced by Aoi?
I think that's what I remember reading.
I thought it was Celestia.
Maybe it was just that I'm thinking of people calling Angie Alolan Asahina.
Oh yeah, she is Alolan Asahina.
Yeah. And there's people
So,
given the nickname for Korekio. It's folklore cunt.
alright, I'm getting up the list that has the comparison.
Okay.
Kaede is Kyoko. Gonta is the same as Yasuhiro Hagakure, as well as Koichi Kizakura, who I recognize the name as one of the characters.
Kizakura is the fedora man who couldn't open his left hand.
Ah, yes, Fedora Man. I wasn't sure if it was him on dude. Himiko is Chiaki, Kibo is Hifumi. Kaito is Kazuichi, which is that one was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kurumi, the ultimate maid, is the same as Hiyoko. That's a very different character.
Ultimate Mom and Ultimate 4chan.
Yep. Maki is the same as Nagisa Shinget.
Who is one of the Warriors of Hope.
One of the Warriors of Hope. I don't know who it is. Anyway, whatever. Whatever.
Yeah.
Rantaro is the same as Hajime. Which actually is now making me like him less.
Avocado. Avocado.
Ryoma, here's a weird one. Ryoma is Gundam.
Yeah, I could tell because of the deep voice comparisons, but
I personally couldn't tell, but I think the weirdest one, like absolute weirdest one, Shuichi is Leon.
yeah.
Shuichi is Leon.
There was some YouTuber I remember seeing a bunch of, but I think he did a series with like totally unused voice lines, and he did a video of I think it was Shuichi, and he was just playing Leon voice lines because it sounds so similar.
Yeah.
I think he did a similar kind of deal with Tenko and Ibuki, but
Tenko and Ibuki was a pretty obvious one that I noticed.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Sayaka and Chihiro had the same voice actress, but she also does Tsumugi. Blah.
Shirogane.
Yes. And then I love how this also specifies that Monokuma previously voiced Monokuma.
Good thing.
And then they changed them into
And even all the Mono Cubs are old. I mean, I recognize Nekoma right away. Like, it freaked me out when like the very first thing Mono Kid yelled, and I'm like, why is Nekomaru there?
Hell yeah!
Monosuke.
I think
Monosuke is the same as Monokuma.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mono Dam is the same as Byakuya Togami. Mono Fanny is Sonya, and Mono Taro is Kiyotaka, actually.
I originally thought
And then
Monosume.
Angie is Celestia, I think.
Monosume. I originally thought she was Monofani, sorry.
Monosuke.
I thought she was originally the bunny.
Usami.
Yeah.
Yeah, think it's also just kind of an error of translation. I think it's supposed to be pronounced mono funny.
Yeah. It says
So yeah,
Monofani.
and also in the Japanese version, all the mono kids are voiced by the same person.
Wow.
Hooray! For that.
Alright, any other questions? Do we got any other questions?
I'm still looking through the stuff here, so there was also the "See you next Tuesday" quote, which I wasn't really expecting. Chiaki's still precious, no idea who's next to leave apart. What was Monokuma's movie? Mid investigation, Ibuki scaring me in the hospital. That was actually an intimidating thing that happened.
Yeah, she was freaky. Yeah, she was kind of freaky.
Oh yeah, Hyoko actually dying. That's the thing. I suppose that is a question. What was your favorite chapter overall?
Ooh, but it's 4. It's 4. That's the correct answer.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
just the objectively correct answer. As much as listen, I absolutely adore 5 for what it did, and like with everything, like all the revelations and stuff. But I chapter 4 slightly beats it out on a personal note. I just loved some of the revelations in that. I really did. It was amazing, the whole thing.
Funhouse.
Funhouse.
For me,
Mainly Funhouse.
It contains your favorite area. Josh, it contains your favorite area. The Void.
yeah, the Void,
The Void.
my favorite location in the world.
The favorite location.
But for me, the one chapter that I do like, just because of kind of personal reasons, is chapter 3. Because on both sides, there was someone who I didn't expect to die and didn't expect to kill, and it completely flipped my expectations for the rest of the game after that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I knew Mikan was gonna. I had actually suspected Mikan in chapter 2, but Hyoko death surprised me. Because at this point I didn't realize that it was a tradition that third chapter is a double murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Because I had only seen the anime. I'm like, oh, there's a double
Murder
but I
again.
didn't and then once that happened, I'm like, oh, okay, so I guess every chapter 3 is a double. And then, yeah, for Ibuki, I thought my theory was that because of what her despair disease was, that she was told that she needed to commit suicide and just did it. Because, like, the gullible disorder. She was just doing what anyone said. So I thought someone told her to hang herself, and she did. And that's what I thought the video was.
Oh,
And I'm like, that's awful. That's awful. But then it turns out, no, she was just strangled.
I mean, that was
No,
also
just strangled.
that was also another thing that I also forgot in between parts, the buy one get one free kind of aspect of the leather bag, because I always just thought it was just one, and I didn't know how the bag was able to get over to the Titty Typhoon, but meh, I was just wrong.
Titty Typhoon.
But I finally get closure on Fat Kia, chapter 4, episode 22. Should have best free times in Fuyuhiko and Sonya, realistically.
Glitches, man.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Sonya had great free time. And another reason chapter 4 was the best was because of the revelations regarding the final dead room.
yes,
the final dead
that was fun.
Yes.
That was so fun. But also the revelation that Hajime doesn't have a talent and that he's a useless bum.
Reserve
I'm
course,
like, oh, that's
Pretty
great.
boy paid for wretches.
Exactly. I'm like, yay, it could continue degrading Hajime. He's already bad. I'm like, yay, Hajime is sad now. Haha, Hajime.
And then also for a chapter 4 investigation is episode 24, Nagido the cockhole. He was being a cockhole in that chapter for some reason. That's what I wrote down.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm apparently useless. Go figure.
Can we talk about how incredible the Danganronpa 2 investigation music is?
Yes.
It was, I dare say, a bit too bopping.
Too much of a bop.
Not enough
It's
of the
far
beat.
too much of a bop.
I probably need to have a listen back at V3's pair of investigation music, but for me, I do like DR2's pair, even if Box 15 and 16 are close to me.
I liked the V3, but I vastly prefer. I was very upset actually in the fifth trial when investigation music started playing, and it was a different investigation music, and I didn't like it as much. I'm like, no, go back to the original. I'm like, because then when I got to chapter 6, I'm like, okay, finally, now we go back to the original. Then it was the new one again.
It's just
like,
how it works. Because
I'm like, no, hey, come back.
It's just the exact same in all three. First 4 chapters have one theme, and then they have a remixed theme for the last 2.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I still liked it, but it was just not as much of a bop, in my opinion.
Plus, the 8-bit crushed version of that investigation music in chapter 2 is just so good.
Mm.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Love the fact
I'm too good at
quiet as soon as you did that.
Fucking improper octagons. Chapter 4. Then that was my stupid theory. There was a couple of times where it was kind of alluded to, but I think that was the whole point that the game made it this kind of point. I thought for the longest time that Nagito was actually just kind of Makoto the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, because
that's a weird theory.
The hoodie and Hope stuff, but no, they go out of their way to show that, okay, maybe he's not really Makoto at all, and in fact he isn't. He just goes to the farthest extremities in order to obtain Hope.
What if Nagito was actually Yasuhiro? The whole time.
Actually, speaking on that note, Hajime was made into the ultimate Hope, but I think I've discussed this with you as well, Josh. At the end of Danganronpa 1, if you check the actual skill card of Makoto, it says the ultimate despair.
Yeah, that was a really strange thing.
So if you check what?
Check his
the report card.
It says the ultimate despair from Makoto, not the ultimate lucky student or the ultimate hope. It's only when it's mentioned that he's the ultimate hope, it then says the ultimate despair.
It's just a rather strange thing.
I noticed it, I was just checking all the report
And then
cards.
everybody got a slice of that cake in the next game.
Yeah.
You know what's fun to think about?
What's fun to think about?
You see, Yuzuru Kamakura is a mixture of all the talents combined into one, all the talents that they've studied.
Yeah.
What if Kibo went to the Hope Speak Academy before him? How would they imbue Yuzuru Kamakura with the powers of being a robot?
Robotic arm.
Like,
cyborgs. Go Gadget.
Go Gadget.
Oh my god.
Go
Imagine
Izuru.
Yuzuru Kamakura just being like Inspector Gadget. Like, oh my god. But I think here's a better question. What about having the powers of an angelfish? With our OC of Bubbles, the ultimate angelfish.
Yeah.
Imagine Yuzuru Kamakura being imbued with the powers of being an angelfish.
I should at least explain for those of parents who will probably never even see this until it does. If it does somehow come to a thing, then that's okay. But
that would be in so long though.
Yeah, it would be a long time before anything happens to it. But we've been kind of theorizing our own little Danganronpa thing. Yeah, just for a little while.
Like,
we've got a ton of stuff written for it. We started the character
16
grid.
pages long. Oh yes, I'm doing a grid detailing the character relations, and I do in fact plan to find artists to design some of the characters.
It'd be fun to see.
Find people who want to, and see if I can get it made as a university project. That's the goal right now, at least.
That would be fun.
To, like, go to university because like my university is like kind of arts oriented, kind of.
I could probably just be putting the list of all the names and talents that we have just on the screen right now, but.
Like, I can actually just list out the talents. So we have the ultimate angelfish, we have the ultimate fisherman, they're best friends, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made that point so when Josh told me about it.
The ultimate protagonist, he's not called that, but he...
Just protagonist.
We have the ultimate barber. And I think, I don't think I'm gonna list them all, I'm gonna only list a few more. My favorites are the twins, the ultimate rapper, R-A-P-P-E-R, and the ultimate rapper, W-R-A-P-P-E-R. That's my favorite.
Yeah, Katsui...
Katsui Tani and Tadataka Tani.
There we go. I was feeling it was Tarataka, but I just kind of forgot in the moment.
Taratakatani is, as much as it sounds like rhyme alliteration, ooh, that's the rapper R-A-P-P-R, W-R-A-P-P-R.
Yeah.
And I guess the other two I will mention are, like I mentioned earlier, Noriko, who I'm trying to make like Mikan, but like a Mikan I'd enjoy, is the ultimate victim. The ultimate victim. I felt so bad designing her character. Like, just in my mind. And the only other one I really want to mention, we had the ultimate entomologist with Gonta. But now meet the ultimate etymologist, the study of words and their origins.
Which is interesting.
You know, her and her two other friends who are also kind of oriented, they are the belletristic buddies. Go Google the word belletristic.
It was only just a recent revelation of that part, but
it's like,
we got some really interesting things thought up about our cast. But
yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be fun. Hopefully I can get this made into a thing over like a year. It would take a very, very long time. But that's the plan.
I will say that to Josh, when he mentioned bubbles, I instantly reacted with, if you're making a game, I will voice him.
Actually, you have a good voice. I think you could do a good Bubbles. Gonna be honest.
Okay.
Do any of you guys know any Swedish? Do you guys know any Swedish women? We would need a Swedish accent.
I don't know any Swedes myself, female at least. But I don't know.
We'd have to figure that out. I've myself cast as the Tani twins. I myself cast as the Tani twins. I have a friend of mine, the one who fixed the names so that they sound better. He wants to be Noriko, and honestly, his voice would be perfect for Noriko. And he also can do a Psycha voice, and he's gonna sound really crazy and insane.
Nice.
Maybe. Like for different things, maybe. That's the goal.
Yeah. As long as it's not Borderlands Psycho.
And I think I know someone who could do a good Chi, the ultimate etymologist. So I think we got some good voices scheduled.
Yeah. I mean, I think the ultimate etymologist is, you said, a female, didn't you?
Yeah.
I was gonna say if it was male, they would have to have a deep voice, but for female, you'd have to have kind of.
No, we got a female etymologist.
In my mind, I was kind of thinking of Orica having kind of a Peko-ish tone, just having like reserved and kind of quiet, but I don't know.
I think Orica is gonna be kind of like a mix of Peko and Toko.
That sounds fine. That's fine to me.
Anyway, we should get.
Let's just see any more of these notes I could point out. Like, check the Fi's pre-trial. Nagito's dead. Holy shit. Why do I get the feeling that Kazuichi is behind things?
Kazuichi was the true mastermind. Actually, it was that was some content. I'm being sarcastic, by the way.
He made Big Bang Monokuma, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Fact here was never fact here to begin with. I finally have used that surprise spring.
So do we got any like final thoughts?
Holy fuck! It's Leon again.
11037.
11037. It's classic. And it's all that stuff.
So that's always fun. And honestly, Danganronpa is just like, I heard about it. My friend just was like, "Oh, hey, you should watch this anime called Danganronpa." I'm like, "What's that?" He's like, "You should watch it. You'd enjoy it, based on the fact that you like Ace Attorney." I watched it. I loved it. Played the games because I had just finished playing through binging all the Ace Attorney games, and I'm like, I need murder mystery. I need more murder mystery. And
that's exactly how I found out about Danganronpa as well. It's because of
you told me as well.
NCS, who had played through the Ace Attorney games, and he got recommended to stream the first one, which I watched alongside him and then subscribed to that, and then I did.
They're great. Like, Danganronpa's great. It really is.
It's a fun series.
I will say.
And now I'm on to Zero Escape, another series by the company.
Yep.
I had that on the Vita before it broke.
I guess it was.
I think my last thought that I would want to give is just a PSA to everyone. So just so everyone is fully aware that the people who make Danganronpa are also the people who make Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Oh yeah. Spike Chunsoft were behind that.
Please, everyone, no one can forget this. This is a fact
that
cannot be forgotten. Like, just always keep that in the back of your mind whenever you think of Danganronpa or Spike Chunsoft. Just be like, these people made Pokemon Mystery Dungeon in addition to Danganronpa.
And also, as I pointed out in the episode where it featured it for the first time, they also made Twilight Syndrome series back in the early days, which is what Twilight Syndrome Murder Case is based off of. Which I was surprised to actually find out was real, and how close it was.
Which is kind of just fun facts like that. And also Cadence of Hyrule, they worked on that.
Oh, yeah, of course, because they also helped out with the original Crypt of the Necrodancer. And they got that Danganronpa DLC.
Yeah.
It's fun. Do you have any final words, Rob?
There is actually one thing I do want to talk about.
And we've actually discussed this, and that's the fact of how you said about the Nintendo Switch controller working for quite well.
It would be nice if we got the trilogy on Switch.
Yeah.
Because
that would be incredible. I hope, because I think the main reason I would want that is currently Monokuma has no games on any Nintendo consoles. Joker had like Persona Q, so that technically counts, but like at the moment, Monokuma doesn't feel very eligible for Super Smash Bros.
The only time he and other Danganronpa characters have appeared is with Crypt of the Necrodancer Amplified Edition. Because
that's
of the Danganronpa DLC.
But that's not like an appearance of a game,
not an actual speaking.
Although I have got up an entire reveal trailer in which Pit and Marth are talking, and Marth's like, "Hey, where'd Lucina go?" And Pit's like, "I'll go check." And he's just like walking down the corner, and he's like, "Ah!" And then like it does the body zoom in on Lucina laying there, and like pink blood is all over the place, and then you see like pink inklings swimming away, like to the ground. My original concept was like Ness had his bat with like the pink on it, and he like threw it down and ran away. But I think that might be a bit too dark. So
I mean, it would be a funny way to like reveal Monokuma and Smash.
Yeah, like with pink inkling, because like it's that sort of shade of pink. And then like Monokuma like comes on the screen, and it's like Monokuma brings the despair, and then he's just in the game.
Hoo.
I'm just imagining like what his attacks might be.
And I think my final words before we end the call. Do robots have dicks?
Do robots have dicks?
Do robots have dicks?
No.
They don't. This is confirmed. You know Nekomaru Nidai, when he becomes a robot, he doesn't.
He can't shit.
He can't do
He's
it
got
anymore.
constipation. He couldn't be more than 2 ultimates at a time. He was also the ultimate masseuse, as well as the...
Stop.
Please stop.
So yeah, I guess that's just about it then.
And that should be all. Okay,
Yeah.
let's just transition into me later on, or just some random post words if I forgot anything. That should be it.
Clap transition.
And with that seems to be the end of the conversation. But it may come to as a surprise to you, but there's still a couple more things I would like to mention real quickly. Just because of things I didn't really mention at all during the discussion that I remembered after the fact. First off, I suppose I could just talk about V3 just a little bit more. Not too much, but what I want to say is, in the soundtrack of V3, they do implement some things during the trials that had remnants of Danganronpa 3, because there's this distinct sound during Danganronpa 3, the anime, that you could keep hearing throughout certain situations. It's tough to describe. Maybe I'll give a little excerpt here. But they incorporate that specific tone into some of the trial music in Danganronpa 3, V3, and that I think is pretty cool to listen to. On the topic of V3's soundtrack, I just wanted to mention one other thing. Take a listen to this. That is the theme for the Treasure Hunter Monolith casino game in V3. Now, imagine playing through V3 and having to listen to that all the time you went to a casino, because that's what I did. And then you come back to edit Danganronpa 2 footage, and then you come across Chapter 5's trial and its execution, and it sounds like this. And I was just sat there, like, holy shit. Just holy shit. So that's one thing I do like about the soundtrack, along with other things too. It's a lot of stuff, but I do want to keep V3 spoilers to a minimum, so I'll let you move on to V3 in your own time. Next up, I suppose kind of a side thing involves with the description of episode 14. And if you remember, episode 14 was the April Fool's Day episode because, coincidentally enough, April Fool's happened to be a Monday that year, which was one of the best opportunities I could have ever had. And plus, the way it lined up with episode 14 being that one episode, I was like, oh shit, did Hiko actually die? But no, he's perfectly fine and survived the end of the game, but that was great. And in the description, it was at that point when I was actually writing the description where I wasn't anywhere near done with the game yet. I feel like I could just look back at the dates and confirm when I wrote the description and when I was in the game at that point, but when I mentioned a twist from the first game comes back again in full force, I had no idea that it was going to be that exact thing for being revealed in Chapter 4. It was just seemed like a really interesting thing to bring up in that description because of the whole thing that I had where I was just like, one of these is true, no, one of these is false and the rest is completely true, and that was actually just a really fun thing to write up and mention. Next up, I suppose we could talk about the thumbnails themselves. It was already mentioned in the discussion that Alex helped me with the thumbnails, as well as mentioning in the finale episode, the 35, I mentioned that Aurora also helped with picking up thumbnails as well. And a couple of interesting things happened because of that. The first interesting thing was the thumbnail for episode 5 happened, and Alex decided to pick out the one that was used, where it was the crime scene, basically, where the tablecloth was up on the table, and you couldn't see who was underneath the table, but it was obvious that there was a crime that happened there. And that actually worked really well for a thumbnail, because it's like, oh god, someone died, who did it? I don't know, even though you did find out at the end of episode 4 who it was, but it still worked really well for it. And because of that thumbnail, I decided, let's do that for the rest of the bodies too. So I ended up covering up Mahiru's body, I ended up covering up Ibuki's and Hyoko's body, as well as Mekamaru's body, and Nagito's body. And I just liked the idea of this thumbnails because it didn't give away too much. It just gave away the location that it happens in, and that's about it, which I think is really good compared to other thumbnails on this website. But let's not go into that at all. Okay. Another thing about the thumbnails is with the trial episodes. If you remember, the first one was just okay. Episode 6 happened, and I just wanted a general. It was an introduction to the class trials, so it's just, here's Monokuma and Monami sat down on their little chair right there in the first call room and decided to bring their thing. Then I was given another thumbnail by Alex with Nagito, which was used for episode 7, and then I myself decided to pick out another decent thumbnail for episode 8, which happened to be Hajime, Mahiru, and Hyoko standing there next to each other. And when that happened, nothing was really too out there, but then it comes to the second class trial, where the first thing that happened was I wanted to make sure that the flail was the first thumbnail of the trial when it happened in episode 13. And then, after that, I had a couple of ideas for what the 14th thumbnail could be. And funnily enough, one of the ideas for the 14th thumbnail happened to be what episode 33 ended up being. And, well, instead of that, I went for a different option, which happened to be the Sparkling Justice mask. And it was at that point that I realized there's a connecting theme with these trial thumbnails, so I decided to run with it. So the third trial had 2 different CGs that were relevant to the scene, where you had the Monokuma movie, The Wizard of Monami, and, well, the killer noticing Hyoko in the music venue. That was a decent connection. Chapter 4's trial involved it didn't directly state or infer to the funhouse's actual structure, but it did imply what it was. It had the diagram of the 2 houses next to each other, where I thought it was just opposite ends of each side, and then also Hajime in the elevator, because elevators were important for that trial, so that helped out a lot. Then Chapter 5's trial was... Chapter 5's trial was Nagito in the closing argument, standing there, and then Usami in the ending CG where she and Chiaki are waving goodbye. That was a nice pairing because it's two interesting things that happen to each of the characters, where they get unique kind of thing, because whatever. That's probably not the best explanation, but it's still matched in a certain way, and it worked pretty well, showing the character. And then the 6th trial thumbnails were the 2 different class trial grounds. The first one being, well, the initial starting point of the 6th trial, and the second one being the game reset trial ground, and that was just a nice thing. Oh, and another thing about the thumbnails, I initially created them in that certain dimension because that was what I was given, and I decided to work with it. And then by the time I noticed, oh shit, they're not like completely widescreen and fitting the best for the thumbnails. By the time I thought about that, I completely forgot. Not necessarily forgot, but I just kind of didn't go. I completely got rid of what the original, like the classroom background, I got rid of, as well as the other stuff that I kind of didn't save, so I couldn't go back and just make them widescreen and all that. So that's why, like, one of the only things with yeah, that's probably the reason why they're in the way that they are for the thumbnails. So I hope you understand with that. Next thing I can mention is just the nature of this series and personal experiences, because one of the reasons why I do like this series at all a lot is that it's always the same, but everyone reacts to it differently. Because everyone's got their opinions, and everyone's got their way of seeing the characters. They can hang out with the characters that they want to hang out with, They hang out with the characters they want to hang out with, and they can experience the game liking those characters. As you heard during their discussion, Alex really liked Peko and Mahiru. So when Chapter 2 came along, it just kind of destroyed his perception. Although that's probably not the way to describe it. He'd be the only one who know how to truly describe it, and plus you've already heard it during the discussion. But you get what I mean. Like, if you really like the characters and then you see them die, you're just like, oh shit, what do I do now? It's a good thing I have other characters to look at doing all that shit. So, like, if you also hate a character a lot, it'll be just that one thing to see them end up dying or have died, and you're just like, oh god. Now, it's awesome to see them dead, but who could have done this? Or, wow, they did it, good job for them. That makes any sense. Oh, speaking of people I hate, I don't hate Nagito. It was a joke just to keep trashing on him throughout the project, but he is a good character. It's just that he was just a silly little thing that ended up happening, and I ended up just trashing on him every chance I got because it was just a silly little joke. And to be honest, a lot of people kind of feel the same, a similar kind of way around him. Like, he's kind of air at points, doing weird, messed up things just to get his way of hope and all that stuff, which is interesting. So yeah, if you like some of these characters and you play for the game for the first time, you do the 3 times with them, you learn more about them because you're really interested in them, and then suddenly cut off, and you're just sat there like, what am I going to do now? It's gone. And that's why I do like this series so much, is that it can be just completely different for everybody once you get down to it. Next up, small point, but in Chapter 5, the post-trial, it's kind of a thing that I didn't do at all, but if you stop to smell the roses during the scene, and went ahead and had a look at all of the different dorm rooms that are in the hotel, there are some corrupted text that accompanies everybody, and as I'm showing here, there are some really interesting things that will be said among them. Like, Chiaki's got the Konami code, and I think Byakuya's, well, the Ultimate Imposters mentions something about the Hugami Corporation. I might be wrong, but of course you've already seen them by now, so you know what it is. But yeah, that's just a rather interesting thing that shows up, and all that shit. And speaking of references, there are some really, really good references that I ended up missing, which was kind of a shame. Like, if you said that Monokuma was the photographer during the second class trial, he would mention Fuzzy Pickles, which is an homage to Earthbound, which, okay, that's pretty good, but I already knew the answer at that trial, so I never would have been able to see it. And then also, one that I'm really sad that I didn't actually get to see because I really liked the reference when it happened, when I first saw it. One of the last 3 times that you have with Ibuki, she ends up singing the Freak on a Leash kind of breakdown from Korn. When I saw that, it was just one of the greatest things that I've seen in the game, which I'm sad that I missed. Next up would be... Well, I'm gonna leave the interesting one, like the most interesting one in my opinion, for last. And what I'm gonna mention is what I kind of feel like Danganronpa is to me. It's a strange thing. Hear me out in this. But I kind of equate one of the chapters of a Danganronpa game that have a season of BoJack. And if you've seen BoJack Horseman, you kind of would get what I mean, but what I mean is, it starts out lighthearted, and there are some jokes every now and then, and there's a lot of fun that people have during the thing. Then something happens to the characters, and then they have to deal with that thing. There's still some comedy mixed in every now and then, even during the class trials and all that stuff, but by the end of the class trial, there is an emotional moment for all of them. Especially stuff like Gundam's last one, as well as the Chapter 2's end trial. Those are really emotional. And then it's just truly sad at that one point. And then there's some hope and some continuation at the end of the chapter for the post scene. And then it just kicks back up when you pick up the next game for the next chapter. And that's kind of similar, in my eyes, to that of a season of BoJack Horseman, where it is lighthearted in some respects, and then it eventually goes all the way down to the deep darkness that the series is known for. And then episode 11, specifically for each season, is really that kind of deal. And then, of course, the 12th episode just kind of alludes to what you could be expected to see in the next season, which is alright. And now the last point I would like to mention is what happens if you actually Google or go to YouTube and type in Misery Mondays. Well, on my end, I get my videos, of course, all my episodes of Misery Mondays that I've done. But alongside that, you have apparently there are episodes of Garfield called Monday Misery that show up. And then there's also other things that show up, like there's a smaller channel that I think that's just called Misery Monday 1, which I don't think they've done much or anything. But there's also one other thing that you might notice when you look through those, because there's a lot of weird things that show up during searching Misery Monday, but one thing that does show up is someone actually has done a series called Misery Mondays. Maybe it's not the ideal, not my idea, like not the way that I've presented Misery Mondays, like this. What this person did, was he played rage games just to have misery on the Monday. That's what I'm supposing. And what it basically happened was, I think there was a point where he just kind of discontinued the series and didn't go for it for a long while, but it's interesting to know that there was a Misery Monday already on YouTube, and I'm just not the one to do like that. I'm still fine with the title, because I thought it was a really nice title just to have for the series. But, you know, it's not like everything in the world. It's just gotta have complete originality. There may be some people that just have your idea before you could have it. So, it's just an understandable situation. And with that about covers all the things I wanted to really mention for this discussion. Thank you very much for listening for these 2 hours. It's heavy, I know, but I will see you in the next recap and in the next thing you decide to see of mine. So I will see you then. I hope you enjoyed, and goodbye. Fuck you. Got mine. That is what's supposed to happen. And at one point during this project... Fuck. Why? Why? When idiocy strikes, it's tough to really nail it down.